If you've been on social media, you've probably seen the viral hack of creating a heart and cat eye using a paperclip. And this really fascinated me and I really wanted to give it a try. Most of the videos that you've seen are with the cat eye gels or cat eye nail polishes, but I wanted to try it with magnetic cat eye dip powders. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I create this viral heart cat eye hack using magnetic dip powder. So if that's something you're interested in, stick around and we'll get into it. I wanted this to be a quicker video focused on the cat eye, so I went ahead and completed my base off camera. So as my base for my nails, I have 2 layers of Eggplant by Dipp'd, which is a beautiful dark purple color, and I also capped it in clear. So for my clear, I used Glowful by Dipp'd as well. It is a clear, but it has a purple glow to it. And for my base, I did use my Dipp'd dip base and activator. So I went ahead and did my 3 total dips, activated, filed, and buffed off camera. So now we're at the point where we're ready to get in and try this cat eye. For my magnetic dip powder, I'm going to be using Pure Silver by Dipp'd, and this is actually a 9D cat eye powder, and it is just so gorgeous, but it doesn't have to just be cat-eyed. So you can dip it as normal, you don't have to cat eye it, or you can chrome it. So I love how versatile this powder is, and it is just so gorgeous. So for the cat eye, I'm going to do the pre-mixed method. If you want to see the regular cat eye method, I'll leave that video up above in the cards. I did that quite a while ago. But I know during that video, some of you expressed interest in seeing me do it pre-mixed. So that's the method I'm going to do today. So I do have my Hema-free gel base from Dipp'd, and I'm just applying a good amount of that to my resin palette because I'm going to mix some of the powder into that gel base. So I want to make sure I have enough to do all 5 nails because I'm going to do the cat eye on all my nails. So I'm just taking a dollop of that, making sure I've got enough on my palette, and then I'm going to take a little bit of the powder. You want to be careful. You don't want too much powder or else it's going to become too thick. So I like to add just a little bit of powder at a time. So I put in some of that powder on top of that gel base, and now I'm going to mix it together and I'm going to check on the consistency. So you can see how beautiful it looks getting mixed together, but I want to make sure that it's not too thin, that I have enough of that powder, but you don't want it too thick where it's hard to kind of apply to your nail. So I'm just making sure I've got all that powder incorporated into the gel base. And what I find is after I get all that powder incorporated, it's a little bit too thick. So I'm going to add a little bit more gel base just to thin it out a little bit. So play with it, mix it around. You'll kind of figure out what kind of consistency you need, but definitely don't want to make it too thin. You don't want to make it too thick. So it's just finding that right balance. I went ahead and fixed my paperclip off camera because I did some testing beforehand. So you can see at the opened end of the paperclip, I twisted them together to create that V, and that V is what's going to be, that's going to create that heart design. And then at the end of the paperclip, I bent it to a 90-degree angle. So the distance of the end of the paperclip to the V does make a difference. So you want to make sure that it's not too close, but it's not too far away either. So you kind of have to play with it a little bit. And then this is the magnet I'll be using. I did test several kinds of magnets. So I have a regular one that comes on a stick. I've got this one. I've got a cylindrical one. I found this one worked the best for me. So that's what I'm going to use. And another lesson I learned is that the side of the magnet does matter. So make sure that you play with it to figure out which the strongest magnetic side is. So I'm using my gel brush. This one is from iGel Beauty, and I'm just painting on that mixture that I have of the gel base and the cat eye polish, and I'm just applying that to my nail as my base. So I don't want to cure it after I have it on, so I'm just applying a thin, even layer of that. Obviously, because this is gel, I'm making sure that I'm being very careful not to get any gel on my skin or my cuticle area. So I've got a thin layer on, and what I realized is you do need a little bit of a thicker amount in order to get the magnet to work, to get those particles to move around. I mean, obviously you don't want it too thick to where it's runny, but you do want a good amount on. So I'm going to apply just a little bit more just to make it a little bit thicker, just to get that better magnetized look. So I'm going to make sure everything is nice and even. And then once I'm happy with the coverage of that, I'm not going to cure yet. The gel is still wet, and I'm going to apply my paper clip to the magnet, and I'm going to hover where I want that heart. So the couple things I learned besides the side of the magnet does matter is you need to hover it a little bit longer than normal. So I usually hover it for about 10 seconds, and I wasn't getting a good magnet, so I'm going to try another side to see if it works a little bit better, which I think this one did work out a little bit better for me. So I'm just going to hover it for about 10 seconds to where I can see that heart starting to magnetize. And I may adjust the shape a little bit, but once you get the shape that you want, the heart that you want, the magnetize that you want, make sure you cure it, because they will start to dissipate and move back to where they were. So once you have the look that you want, make sure you're curing it. And because I'm doing all 5 nails, I'm just going to do a flash cure to make sure that they don't move on me. So let's walk through one more nail. So I've got my gel brush, and I'm picking up a dollop of that pre-mixed gel, and I'm just going to paint that on my entire nail, being careful not to get any gel on my skin. So I don't want my layers too thin, but I also don't want them too thick because I don't want it to run on me. I feel like that's where you have to kind of play around to find the right consistency to make sure that it's not too thick where you can't even apply it to your nail, but it's not too thin where it's running. So this I like because it actually is like a pudding gel type consistency. That's if you're familiar with pudding gels, that's kind of the consistency you want to go for. So I'm just making sure everything's evenly covered. I don't want anything to look splotchy. And then once I've got on my good coverage, that's when I will make sure that my paper clip is attached to my magnet. And then I will hover it where I want my heart, and I'm going to hover it for about 10 seconds. Now you want to make sure that your magnet is far enough away from your nail to where it's not interfering with the magnetization of the heart, which is where that 90-degree bend at the end of it helps out. So I'm just going to kind of play around with it. Now I've got kind of that heart design I want, but I just want to fix the shape a little bit. So I'm going to mess around with it a little bit. And then once I'm happy with that, I'm going to give my nails a flash cure for 15 seconds in my lamp just to freeze that shape. And then I will finish the rest of my nails off camera. Once I'm done with all my nails, I'm going to top coat them using my Hema Free Ultra Shine Gel Top Coat from Dipp'd. So I'm going to apply a thin, even layer of this, make sure that I'm capping my free edge, and then I will give my nails a full cure for 60 seconds. And as always, I'm going to finish off my mani by rehydrating my cuticles with my Scales of Mermaid cuticle oil. This is in the scent You Bring Me Home, which is one of my favorites. So not only am I going to apply that around my cuticle area, I like to get underneath my nails as well, just to make sure everything is well hydrated. So while I'm doing that, let's wrap things up. And I will say that I really enjoyed doing this cat eye hack. However, I will say it's not as easy as it looks. So you have to figure out what works. It's not just bend a paper clip, put it on a magnet, and you're done. Like, it took a lot of practice for me to figure out what would work. So one, I had learned that the side of the magnet does matter. So you have to play around with which side of the magnet is the strongest, as well as not all magnets work well. So you have to find a strong magnet. And then the distance of the paper clip to the magnet matters. And then hovering for longer than you would a normal cat eye also matters. But once you figure out, it's really easy and really fun, and I really enjoyed it. So I hope this video is helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue creating content like this, and it also helps YouTube recommend me to others, which helps grow my channel. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I upload content every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.